We've got some massive breaking news to take a look at here on day one of NHL free agency for the New York Rangers. And it's not just one massive signing that they have made, which is an incredible deal with Vladislav Gavrikov officially being signed by the New York Rangers to a 7-year deal worth, hear it, $7 million per season. This is an absolutely incredible signing by the Rangers. This is exactly a kind of deal that I wanted to see there. I mean, I really am shocked by this number that the Rangers got to sign Gavrikov at. When you take a look at the rest of the market there in free agency and guys getting traded and then signing extensions or whatever it's been, with the deals that's kind of gone out here this offseason with certain defensemen, getting Gavrikov on a $7 million cap hit, I think, is absolutely incredible. And we also are hearing, as of recording this video, with the recent news of Gavrikov signing, and also we're hearing from Elliot Friedman as well that the Rangers are working on a deal to send Keandre Miller to the Carolina Hurricanes. So, of course, if/when that deal does happen, of course, I'll have a video coming out later breaking down that possible trade, which would be very interesting, sending him to an obvious division rival there in the Carolina Hurricanes, who are one of those top teams the Rangers have continuously been competing with for those kind of top three spots in the Metro. But getting back to the Vladislav Gavrikov news, this is amazing. I mean, comment down below your thoughts, obviously, if you like it, if you dislike it, rate it a 10 if you want, give it a grade there. But I really just don't see how any Rangers fan should be upset with this deal. We just got a top pairing, or at least a good number 3 caliber defenseman here that can play alongside Adam Fox, possibly be the best defense partner potentially Adam Fox has ever had. I mean, before it's been like the best guy possibly being a guy like, Ryan Lindgren, for example, for the most part. And now you've got a guy like possibly Vladislav Gavrikov stepping in there to play alongside Adam Fox, where Foxy, we know how phenomenal he is offensively and defensively. He's a great all-around defenseman, but he does have that elite kind of offensive game there. Now having an elite, big, tougher, veteran shutdown defenseman, an experienced playoff guy to go alongside him, I think could potentially be an elite top pair in the NHL. One of the top pairs in the NHL. May not be the best, but definitely could be up there for sure, because Gavrikov in his own right is an absolutely, I would say, phenomenal, number 2 caliber guy, you could argue, for sure. And Foxy is still, I would say, a clear number 1 caliber defenseman, definitely still like a top 5 caliber guy in the league. So I think with this kind of signing here, this definitely can really help kind of transform this defense core. And this was by far my number 1 target for months now. This was the guy that I wanted to see the Rangers go after in free agency. And I really did start to get a little worried there with seeing these certain contracts go out there. And then when we saw, I think it was yesterday, whatever it was, Ivan Provorov get that 7-year extension worth $8.5 million per season, I was like, oh crap, we're going to see Gavrikov sign for like close to $9 million now possibly. And now we see, the Rangers sign him and it's only $7 million cap hit. I'm just thrilled with this number. If it got close to that $9 million mark or even above that, I definitely wouldn't have loved that. But seeing the number that it's at now, around 7, I think that is an absolute steal. I was more than okay to go upwards of like 8 mil even for me. If it was like at 8 mil there, even like 8.2, something like that, like in the low 8s, I wouldn't have completely hated it. I wouldn't have loved it. It would have been a little iffy, but getting him around that 7 mil mark there, that cap hit, I think is an absolutely phenomenal number. It's an absolute steal. Great deal by Chris Drury. And I have to imagine Gavrikov really wanted to come to the Rangers, because if he wanted to get the absolute most money possible, I'm sure he could have got that somewhere else, or maybe even with the Rangers. I just don't know how we couldn't have got more than this possibly somewhere else. So to me, this is an absolute great deal. The Rangers getting a guy who I would say, like I said, probably wants to be here. I do believe he is joining a former teammate as well, and Igor Shesterkin. I believe they played back over in Russia together. Gavrikov being, pretty much like the top Russian defenseman, of course, or one of them, alongside kind of Sergachev, I guess you could say, in the NHL right now, Russian defenseman-wise. So I think getting a guy like Gavrikov there, him going alongside, a guy like Igor there, a kind of top Russian goaltender, and you also got a top Russian forward in Panarin there. There's a nice little Russian connection with those guys. So I'm sure that might have enticed Gavrikov a bit more as well, because, he's coming to a team knowing there are some Russian players to help him, kind of acclimate and have some buddies there, of course, which, could be a very nice thing for him. But also, I just think this is the exact move the Rangers needed this offseason. I have been talking about it for months now. If you've been watching my videos for a while now, you have heard me consistently talk about needing to add in a top 4 caliber defenseman, and ideally it being a left-handed guy. And that is exactly what the Rangers are getting here in Vladislav Gavrikov. I think he is a number 2 caliber guy. It may not be a kind of high-end number 2, but he is about a number 2 caliber guy, if not a high-end number 3. So he is a very good, above average, top 4 caliber defenseman, and is instantly going to be the second best defenseman on this team for sure. And he has really upgraded this defense core. Assuming that Keandre Miller trade does happen there, heading into next season, as things stand right now, assuming no other big moves happen on the back end there, I want to see a kind of defense core looking like Gavrikov alongside Foxy, and then the left side there, we'll move Schneider over to the left side on the second pair, have him go alongside Borgen there, and then you can kind of figure out that, third pair there, whatever you want to do there with Susi and, Urvac and Nainen and whatever else the team decides to do. But I think that's kind of what I want to see for the top 4, unless some other kind of big moves happen there and they go out there and add in a different kind of defenseman. Those are the kind of top 4 I want to see ideally right now. And I'm thrilled with this contract. I really am. I think this is a phenomenal deal for the Rangers. And when you really take a look at the rest of the market, like I said, Provorov getting that $8.5 million deal there. I think Brock Besser got above $7 million. There are some massive contracts being handed out. So I think when you consider what the Rangers just got, the absolute by far best defenseman available at this point in free agency, after Provorov and Ekblad signed, there was no other defenseman even close to him in free agency. The next best guys were like, Ryan Lindgren and some other guys as well. So I think Gavrikov signing this deal is just incredible. And you're going to see some other deals come out that are, maybe somewhat close to this deal, or, some of the kind of defensemen that you go, hey, wow, like the Rangers got an absolute clear steal with getting, a guy like this for $7 million, when some other guys are going to sign for, some crazy money, but they're not going to be even close to as good as Gavrikov. So I think this is an incredible deal there. This is a guy who, of course, the Kings and Oilers, they have been constantly matching up in the playoffs there. So he's gotten a lot of experience going up against, the top tier players in the NHL, guys like Draisaitl and McDavid, right? Those are two obviously very elite players. You can argue they're two of the top 2 guys at moments in the league, right? Of course, Connor McDavid being like arguably the best, of course. Well, not really arguably, he is the best, I would say, but you get what I'm saying there, right? He has consistently gone up against some of the top forwards in the league there, one of the top offensive teams, in the Oilers. So I think this is just an absolutely incredible guy to add in there. He brings a lot of experience in the playoffs there, and obviously hasn't gone on some kind of long runs necessarily with LA there, but he's gone up against a consistently kind of, Stanley Cup Finals team in the Edmonton Oilers. So he's got a lot of experience against some top teams there, some top players. He's a very good defenseman. He's got some Russian kind of players to help him kind of acclimate to this Rangers team. I'm sure he wanted to come here, like I said, because he definitely could have gotten more money, I'm sure, somewhere else if he really wanted to get the absolute most money possible. So I think this is an absolutely incredible move by the Rangers, and getting Gavrikov with a $7 million cap hit in this market, with the cap going up as it's going to, I think is an absolutely incredible signing by Chris Drury and the New York Rangers. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching today's video. If you have enjoyed, definitely don't forget to click that like and subscribe button for daily New York Rangers content, as I do post every single day. And of course, we'll also have some videos out coming later today and tomorrow, following up with the other kind of possible trades and signings this team will make. And also, definitely don't forget to comment down below your thoughts on this incredible signing, in my opinion. Comment down below, do you like it? Do you dislike it? What are your thoughts on this kind of deal, with it being a 7-year deal, $7 million cap hit? I know he is, getting up there a bit in age. He is, going to be turning 30, of course, in November, but I don't think that's going to be too bad there. He'll be in his kind of mid to late kind of 30s there once his contract ends, but I don't think he'll be too bad of a defenseman at that point, and the cap will have gone up so much more as well at that point in time. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll catch you next one, and let's go Rangers.